Could ancient history and biblical prophecies reveal hidden secrets behind Joe Biden's presidency, along with Kamala Harris's political rise and sudden fall? Is it possible that an ancient mystery holds profound revelation into what is happening right now with the presidency of Donald Trump? Today, New York Times bestselling author Jonathan Cahn is here to unveil his most explosive prophetic revelations yet. But first, watch this.
Is there more to the world than meets our eyes? Could the most powerful figures of our age be fulfilling the roles of an ancient blueprint? Is it possible that behind the events of our time is an ancient mystery transforming our lives? Could the realm of ancient mythology be colliding into our present reality? Are there actually avatars in the world today, even in the realm of government? Leaders impacting nations, even America, and holding an ancient secret. Have they even altered elections? #1 New York Times bestselling author Jonathan Cahn, author of 10 bestsellers, including The Harbinger, The Return of the Gods, and The Dragon's Prophecy, now releases what may be his most explosive book yet, The Avatar, The Return of the Ancients, and the Future of America. The book you can't afford not to read.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Skywatch Television. I'm Joe Artis Horn. If you missed last week's program with our very special guest, go back to the archives wherever you watch Skywatch Television and make sure you get caught up. We covered a lot of material. Yes. And of course, I'm talking about the one and the only, the New York Times bestselling author, Mr. Jonathan Cahn. We're going to hit the ground at a full sprint yet again, Jonathan, because there's always so much to cover. But again, if you missed it, maybe even consider downloading the Skywatch Television mobile app, where they have yet to try and cancel us, because you're going to want to make sure you catch last week's program on his brand new book, The Avatar. And I'm going to bring this up on the screen for you. The Return of the Ancients and the Future of America. And last week, we covered just a tithing, didn't we, Jonathan? Talking about this prophetic template that has accurately demonstrated the last 3 presidential elections. And of course, we teased as we move through this series that we're doing with you, how this template can accurately maybe point towards prophetic things that have yet to come. Give us just a taste for those that missed the Avatar and where we left off.
Yeah, the Avatar is explosive, and we're going to get to, it's going to go continuously in this direction of explosive of the books that I've written. This is not only the nature of the principalities, the gods with a small g, that are touching America, the mysteries behind it, the templates behind it, behind everything, the political realm, the spiritual, who's in the White House, who will rise, who falls, and even, for instance, we're not going to get on this one, but we will get the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. There's a gigantic mystery behind it. Yes. There is so much, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. I mean, once you see it, everything will make sense. So we spoke about the returning spirits, or the gods, the reality of what the Bible calls principalities, or shedim, which means entities that are at work when you drive God out, when you empty God out.
That's right.
But then it wasn't just that. There's a template from the Bible, a mystery of kings and queens that are linked to the gods that hold the mystery behind virtually every major American leader in the last period, including up to what's happening. And Donald Trump comes into that. He's very much part of this mystery. And it's not that I don't think he's studying the original Hebrew. When he does these things, he just does it. He just says, I'll do it. It's going to be fantastic. I mean, just does his thing, But God is in charge of it. So we're watching this, and we're going to go into, now we're going to continue on this, but it's going to be pulling away the veils of even Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, what's happening right now, and everything.
Well, Jonathan, let's dive right into it. How does the template of Jehoram reveal the mystery of Joe Biden?
Yeah, with Joe Biden, this is also in the template, and there's a king in that template linked to all these, whose name is Jehoram. Now, Jehoram knew about the things of God. I mean, he was raised that way, but he turned against them. He was apostate, and he was a weak king. Well, Biden is, by the way, when we talk about this, I want to say this at each time. It's not about the people. We have no enemies. We pray for the people. They don't know what they're doing, but it's part of the mystery. And the thing is that Joe Biden was weak. You know, at the beginning of his time, he was actually not for Roe versus Wade. He was kind of going in the issue towards life, and he turned totally against it, where he's actually, by the end of the presidency, he's persecuting pro-life people, taking grandmothers, being put into prison. He follows this, and during the reign of Jehoram, one of the major issues of his time is border crossings, border incursions.
Wow.
Foreigners are coming into the borders unchecked in there. It's like a porous border. So that's number one. So Joe Biden. So the time of that. Another one is near the beginning of his reign, Jehoram suffers a massive military disaster, a pullout, a withdrawal from a land that they were occupying, which was Edom. Well, for us, it was Afghanistan. At the beginning of his reign, same thing, pullout that weakened his presidency and also, by the way, weakened the entire world order. Probably gave rise to other things that the invasion by Russia, the other invasion, so which will bring to another thing here. That is, during the time of Jehoram, the land of Israel is invaded by an enemy people who launch an invasion of the land, October 7th, Jehoram. The people who do this, the Bible identifies them as Arabians and Philistines. Arabians, we get the word Arab. Philistine, the word Palestinian literally means the Philistines. Now, the invasion in the time of King Jehoram begins for the Philistines in what we call now the Gaza Strip. So they come in from the Gaza Strip in the time of Jehoram. They raid the land and they take Israelis hostages back to Gaza in the reign of Jehoram. Okay, now here's another thing about Jehoram. The Bible says that Jehoram led the people away from God, and Biden got into a lot of anti-biblical policies.
Yes.
One of them, you remember, he gathered on the White House, and it was rainbows all over the place, to sign an act called the Respect for Marriage Act. Of course, it was the very opposite of what it was. And basically what it was saying is that everyone pretty much is going to be forced to say or recognize, confess that marriage is not between a man and a woman, as God said. It can be between anybody, man and a man, woman and woman. So he signs that. Okay. Now, at the end of that, he lights up the White House in the colors of a rainbow, which Obama did when basically biblical marriage or traditional marriage was struck down. Okay, and that, by the way, the rainbow, remember, is linked to the goddess Ishtar, who's the goddess of gender confusion. Okay, so he does that. Now, there's one day in the entire Bible, one day that God says, I'm not going to recognize marriage. One day. It's in the book of Ezra, when the men of Israel intermarried with the pagan world.
That's right.
And so Ezra gathers them together, says, no, this is wrong, and God's not recognizing it. You got to repent. Well, it was on the 20th day of Kislev. When Biden did that and he lit up the White House, it was the 20th day of Kislev, the day that God says, I am not going to respect the marriages. This is not biblical. And he could not have known that. So what happens with Jehoram is he's basically weak, and he's not following God, and he weakens the entire kingdom. And that's going to lead to some other things linked to Biden.
I'm always so impressed at how your brain, probably under the prompting of the Holy Spirit, is somehow able to aggregate all of these dates and connecting points and how it ties to Bible prophecy and ancient history. Are you guys keeping up here? So impressed. It's all litigated, of course, in your new book, The Avatar. What happened, though, to Jehoram in the last days of his reign?
Well, the big issue with Jehoram at the last part of his reign was he became physically impaired, physically enfeebled. Physically, where we don't even know if he was running the government or that you had an auto scribe or something. We don't know if the people around him running the government. So even that is part of the template of Jehoram.
What is the mystery of Ahaziah?
At the end of his reign, or the end of his time, King Jehoram has only one son left, his youngest son. Biden, at the end, has one son left, his youngest son. The son who was left for Jehoram was Ahaziah. He didn't follow the Lord. Okay. The one who was left for Biden was Hunter Biden, who didn't follow the Lord. The name Ahaziah comes from the Hebrew root word ahaz, which means to seize. Now, to seize is, in Old German, is the word henten, thus the name Hunter. So Ahaziah, Hunter.
Oh my
You can't
goodness.
make it up.
You can't make this stuff up. Now, who was Atalia?
Yeah. Now, people don't know. This is going to open up the next mystery. This is going to go now into the territory of Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Jezebel has a daughter.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Now, if before we were seeing that Hillary Clinton was kind of following the template of Jezebel, not knowing it, but she's doing it. Well, who was her political heir? She ran for the presidency, and they said, well, Clinton passes the torch to Harris, because she followed, she was the next one to run. Well, so this is Jezebel's daughter is going to be the template of Kamala Harris. Atalia, she is, first of all, her background ideologically and everything goes through Jezebel, which is to the city of Tyre, Phoenicia, which is radical ideology, pagan, West Coast. So the beginning of Harris is the West Coast, where Berkeley, San Francisco, which is all these radical things. That's where she came out of. But to come to the throne or to come to power, Atalia had to enter into a political marriage with a king. So Harris comes to power by a political marriage, and it was a political marriage, with Joe Biden. And it was politically joined to and married to.
Yeah.
Now, the one who was Jehoram, who is the prototype of Biden. So
Wow.
you've got Jehoram and Atalia, you've got Biden and Kamala Harris. Okay. Now, the thing is, Atalia is the queen. Now, she's the number 2 ruler in the land. So Atalia was the number 2 ruler when border crossings are coming in, when they withdraw, all those things we just said, all those things happen with that. But at one point, Atalia, Jehoram gets weaker and weaker, and Atalia vies to become number 1, become the number 1. So
Okay.
Kamala
Oh, my
Harris, it
goodness.
gets to the point where she vies to
Okay.
become number 1. Atalia, in order to come to the throne, she actually kills the royal children. And that includes her own relatives, her own grandchildren, because she's afraid, because this is the house of David. She is not a legitimate leader, but she wants
Right.
to become the legitimate king
Right,
of
right.
Israel. So she kills the royal children. So she has the blood of children on her hands. Now, one of the things about Kamala Harris, and again, I'm not talking about motive, but her main issue, she's the only major American political candidate for presidency who actually made the major issue be abortion, which is the killing of children. In fact, when she was being nominated, outside the convention, they're actually performing abortions, the blood of children, as she's being anointed. It's linked to her rising, just like it was linked to the rising of Atalia. But even when Harris was in California, she literally waged war against pro-life people. She pioneered it, where she sought to force life clinics. They were trying to save babies and have mothers, to force them to refer their people to abortion clinics. And it only stopped when the Supreme Court itself overturned her. Now here's another thing. Now Atalia, because Atalia was for Baal worship, like her mother Jezebel. So again, children, the children's blood. But the thing is that also with this is that Atalia, I said, waged war against the house of David, almost wiped out the house of David. Well, the thing is that, remember, there was a guy who exposed Planned Parenthood, that they were trafficking baby. Now, he should have been rewarded. He should have been honored. But what happened was Kamala Harris met with Planned Parenthood, and then after that, she launches a raid against his house. She raids his house, takes away the computer, takes away his filmed evidence, and then she leads to what her department is going to put him on trial to put him in jail. Now, interesting, because the guy's name was David.
Yep.
Oh,
So
that's
Kamala wars against the house of David.
My
and so, I mean, as Atalia did, same thing. Okay. But this is going to lead to, she doesn't prevail. Okay. And here's what happens. One of the babies is saved. And so that put Atalia at war with those people in Israel, because Kamala Harris was literally at war with pro-life people. I mean, more than.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
they hide him. His name is Joash. They hide him in the temple. Then a few years goes by. He's around 7 years old. And they pronounce him king. She hears the noise, goes to the temple. She's in the temple courtyard, temple. She sees that, says basically this is treason, treachery. They overthrow her. She is defeated. She is overthrown. Okay. Now, interesting. So the downfall of Atalia is linked to the temple. Now let me just give a contrast here and a little another mystery. Because the downfall of Jezebel wasn't linked to the temple. She's in the north. She was on a balcony, and they said, throw her down, and she gets thrown down. Okay. Now, on the very day that Hillary Clinton received the nomination to become the Democratic candidate to stand against Trump, the Jehu, American Jehu, and she's standing in the shoes of Jezebel. That very day, there's a speech in the Democratic convention, and the guy's it's prophetic by accident, and the whole speech is about Clinton. He's praising Clinton, but the whole speech is they threw her down. They threw her down, but she wouldn't stay down. They threw her down. They threw her down. The whole speech. They threw her down. They threw her down. The whole speech. If you type in the words of that speech, they threw her down, that it will come up not to the convention, to the Bible. And it comes up to a single verse where Jezebel is standing against Jehu. That's what she was being nominated for, and where she's going to be thrown down. And so on that first day when she receives it, it's like a prophetic thing saying that she's going to be thrown down, that she's going to be defeated. It was right there proclaimed at the Democratic convention. What about Atalia, the daughter of Jezebel? What about Harris? Well, the first day she's nominated, the first day of her campaign, after she's nominated, she's with Tim Walz for the first time. She's in first event is Pennsylvania. Now remember, Atalia's downfall is linked to the temple. The place of her first event is called Temple. And so it foreshadowed she was even going to fall. Even on the night of the campaign. Now Atalia, she's in the temple. It's the temple courts. It's the courtyard. I'm sure you've been there. She wasn't inside the building. It was the courtyard, the yard of the court of the temple. Then she's taken outside and she's killed in the valley, the Kidron Valley. Okay. So you got the courtyard, the yard, and the valley. Harris, she puts her campaign for the night of the election on Howard University. The place where she puts her campaign is called the Yard, overlooking the valley. And so it was all ordained. She wasn't going to prevail.
Can you guys see why one of these installations of Skywatch TV is never going to unpack what's in the book, The Avatar? But for those, Jonathan, that want to dive in even deeper, you have the Avatar Uncensored DVD album, and we're going to make that available in just a minute. Tell us a little bit about what's in that.
Yeah, this is exclusive. This is not, you cannot go on Amazon. You cannot go to a bookstore. You got to go here at Skywatch. This is special. I only do it for a few ones. This is the uncensored version. Even though this is explosive and most explosive, there's still other explosive stuff I couldn't put in the book. And there are other things, other entire mysteries I didn't put in the book, including really at the end times, what are the most important keys for us as believers? What do we need to know? You're not just reading it, you're actually going to see all these prophetic events that unfold, the gods, the mysteries. It's 8 one-hour DVDs where I'm opening all these things up.
Right.
And there's no other thing like it there. You can show it to your church, show it to Bible study people, unsaved people in your life. It's going to be revealing all sorts of things that are really nowhere else. So it's real special, and it is exclusive. You'll be real blessed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you that Skywatch TV is a viewer-supported ministry, and right now when you partner with us, your support not only helps us stay on the air, it also enables us to continue the mission through our networks and digital platforms of reaching the areas of the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ that are unable to support us financially. When you order the new book, The Avatar, The Return of the Ancients and the Future of America, we're going to send it to you as our gift for your donation of $35 or more, which includes free shipping to all U.S. addresses. But right now, you have the opportunity to upgrade your gift to include the Avatar Uncensored 8-DVD album. Now, this 8-DVD collection expands on Jonathan Cahn's book, The Avatar, revealing uncensored content not found at Amazon or anywhere else. You'll watch mysteries unfold in real time, including prophetic insights into future events and their timing, keys to overcoming unprecedented challenges during the end times, the Ezekiel prophecy and America's role, the mysteries of the statue, Hazael, and many more. This collection is packed with never-before-seen prophetic events on film and video. The Avatar book and Avatar Uncensored 8-DVD collection holds a retail value of over $150. Yours now for your donation of $85 or more. So again, For your donation of $35 or more, you'll receive the Avatar book with free shipping to all U.S. addresses. Or you can upgrade your gift to include the Avatar book and the Avatar Uncensored 8 DVD collection for your donation of $85 or more, which again will include free shipping to all U.S. addresses. So don't delay. Order today, and remember, when you donate, you'll be helping Skywatch TV continue reaching the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Avatar and or the Avatar Uncensored collection right now. You don't want to miss out on the Avatar.
One of the things I find interesting is we're going through 2 Kings right now in our weekly Bible study at home. So we're getting right into the section that you are talking about in the Avatar. And Jehu is a really, really interesting character. For example, 2 Kings 10, where he says, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu will serve them much.
Yeah.
Bring the priests of Baal to me.
Yeah.
How does what Jehu did when he became king after throwing down?
Yes.
And by the way, that speech at the Democratic Convention was given by a Missouri congressman, Representative Emanuel Cleaver.
Wow.
Anyway, how does what Jehu did as king relate to what Donald Trump did when he became president?
Yeah, and for those who just heard that first part and they don't know the end of that, Jehu was not serving Baal. He was coming against Baal. But
exactly.
in a way, he used a little deception. It's interesting. On the first program, we spoke about it. Jehu is the mystery of Donald Trump, like to a T. I mean, for America. I mean, exactly. It's going to reveal what's happening. You want to know what's happening and why it's happening. And I mean, right now, he's like Jehu on steroids. That's how much this is. And the thing is that Jehu, first of all, what was Jehu anointed for? Jehu was anointed. He's the only king of the north we know who was actually anointed.
Yeah.
He was anointed to strike down the house of Ahab. And so what have we talked about? When we talked about America, we were at this point where the American house of Ahab, which is wokeism and anti-biblical agenda, was taking over every single institution of America to the point believers were afraid to speak. I mean, people were afraid. And then Jehu rises up to strike that down. So on one hand, Jehu is a judgment for those against God. He's a judgment against all that. But he's also a defender of God's people. When he came to the throne, he had a running mate in his chariot. He actually invited someone to come in who was a religious conservative. Each time Trump has chosen a religious conservative as a running mate. And so he was, for the people of God, a reprieve, with that. And so the thing is that one thing that he did, so he's anointed to strike down. Well, if you read the commentaries on Jehu and you read Bible headings on Jehu, it says Jehu, what did he do? Purges the kingdom, purges the government. Now, in the Avatar, I show that you take the Bible headings and then you take the news headlines and the news is saying Trump, and they're against it, by the way. They're saying Trump purges it, purges the DOG, he's been purging the government of the agenda of Ahab. So that's the first thing. Secondly, when he said he came against the house of Baal, at the temple of Baal, he pulled it down. He said, everybody who's going to want to worship Baal, come and worship with me. And then he basically judges the wipes it out. And so he was a dismantler. Jehu was so what is Trump? He's dismantling government agencies that he sees are against, morality. So he's a dismantler at the same time. And by the way, speaking of that, what was the temple of Baal? They offered up children as sacrifices. What has Trump done? And listen, it's not about Trump. We know he's a man, and Jehu was mixed too. He was a mix of a man. And by the way, Jehu was originally for Baal worship because he served Ahab and Jezebel, but he turned around. So Trump was also on the wrong side of this, and he turned around. Yeah. And so he is actually responsible. What is America's temple of Baal? It was Roe versus Wade that allowed all these children to be killed. The man responsible more than anyone else was Donald Trump by putting into the Supreme Court what he did. So Jehu overturns the temple of Baal. And so that there's a reason for all this. So that's why Trump is the one who overturned it. But so he did all that. But there's also something else. The first person to be told about Jehu in the Bible was the prophet Elijah. When Elijah was all discouraged, Lord, there's nobody left but me, God says, no, I have some left, and I want you now to anoint Elisha to take over, and anoint the man called Jehu. And so when Elijah's told that, God says, and he talks about the sword of Jehu, the sword of Jehu. Donald Trump's come with a sword. And the thing is that, I don't know if you saw this or you caught this, on the night of his inauguration, he's at this ball, this military ball, and they present him with a present. It's a sword. What does he do? He takes the sword, starts waving it in the air, and dancing with the sword. Now, what president does that? No president does that, but Jehu would do that. Okay, so even that is part of this whole thing. So there's a real prophetic moment we're at, and it's not about a man. Donald Trump doesn't know these things, but God is using to accomplish His will, which we'll get to. But Jehu was extreme. He broke the molds. He wasn't a politician. He just broke out of the whole thing. And so Donald Trump is extreme, but Jehu was an extreme answer to the extreme state of the nation.
Right.
And Donald Trump is an extreme answer to the extreme state of America.
Yep.
It takes someone to jar it, to wake it up, to break this stronghold, this spell, and that's exactly what's happening right
yes,
now.
Yes.
Yeah, wow.
Right now. When they did this on the exact day, the exact place of America's consecration, they have no idea. And the people who with hardship put up that tree and they replaced the stone, they're fulfilling all these biblical templates. Everybody is, good or bad, but even the bad, will fulfill these things. Just like, listen, the devil himself fulfilled it by putting Messiah on the cross and defeating himself. So yes, let me even go further. I've said how this template that I'm opening up in the avatar gives exact times, in some cases exact dates, but also the times that each one will be on the national political stage. Okay, what about Trump now?
Yeah.
What about Well, Trump is a little bit different because he's always been around, but long before he entered the national political stage or presidential stage. So when did that time begin? When did that span begin? And can we be given a glimpse in the mystery of the end? Well, if I asked you, when did Trump enter the presidential stage, political stage, most people will say, well, 2016 or 2015.
Sure.
No, the truth is, he actually entered it in the year 2000. In the year 2000, people don't know this, he actually was a candidate for the presidency under the Reform Party. He was actually a candidate, and it had a name. It was called Trump 2000, posters all over, and Trump actually won the California primary, in that, before he stepped out. So 2000. Now, what is appointed for his last full year? It's going to be 2028. I mean, we don't know what he's going to do and all this stuff, but 2028 is the last appointed year. So you got, what's the span? It's 28 years. It's the year 2028. 28 years. Open the Bible. Jehu was on the national political stage for 28 years.
Come on.
Jonathan, we're almost out of time. It's that part of every week I dread very much, but we've only opened up just a few of the mysteries that is in the book, The Avatar. Can you tell our audience what might be just ahead?
Yeah. In the next program, we're gonna open up a whole explosive mystery. Could there actually be someone who is in effect an avatar on the national stage? Mystery linked to a specific God and a specific person, and that is affecting everything. Oh, that has. Could there be an even deeper mystery to this man Trump that goes back to the day of his birth? Could there be a mystery behind the assassination attempt that goes back to an ancient priesthood and the moment we're in now? What is the prophetic moment we're in right now? What do we need to know? What do we need to do? How? Because we're at a critical moment.
Yeah.
What is the mystery of the black obelisk? We're going to open up all these things on the next program.
Jonathan, I cannot wait to dive into next week's program, and I'm sure those of you at home are certainly not going to want to miss it, because he'll be back to talk about the divine rulers that were once worshipped as gods across the ancient world and why it matters very much to Christians all over the world today, right now. It's not a program you're going to want to miss for everybody here in studio, everybody up here on stage. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here again this week. I'm Joe Artis Horn. Keep your eyes on the prize, which is Jesus Christ. We'll be back.